सान्द्रानन्दावबोधात्मकमनुपमितं कालदेशावदिभ्या निर्मुक्तं नित्यमुक्तं निगमशतसहस्रेण निर्भास्यमानम् अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनः उरुपुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावत् भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे हन्त भाग्यं जनानां योगीन्द्राणां त्वदङ्गेष्वधिकसुमधुरं मुक्तिभाजां निवासो भक्तानां कामवर्षद्युतरुकिसलयं नाथ ते पादमूलं नित्यं चित्तस्थितं मे पवनपुरपते कृष्णा कारुण्य सिंधो कृष्णा कारुण्य सिंधो हृत्वा निशेषतापान् प्रदिशतु परमानन्द सन्दोहलक्ष्मी
Gurupavanapure Hantabhagyam Janana. As we are relishing Śrīman Nārāyaṇīyam, the very essence of Śrīmad Bhagavata Purana, as composed by a prolific poet and a bhakta called Nārāyaṇa Bhaṭṭatiri, 400 years back, in the revered Kshetram of Guruvayur in Kerala, right in the presence of Sri Krishna, Guruvayurappan, Vasudeva, he describes three aspects of paramatma. One, he covered the Virat Swarupam. Then he described the greatness of Hiranya Garbha. And then he described the Shuddha Sattva Guna Vigraham. That is the Vaikuntha Lokam, Vaikuntha Drishyam. So right from Virat Swarupam to Hiranya Garbha to Vaikuntha Drishyam, Bhaṭṭatiri has showcased the different aspects of Bhagavan as shown to Brahma in Bhagavatam and as shown to Bhaṭṭatiri. In the 8th Dashakam, Bhaṭṭatiri comes across the concept of creation as done by Brahma. So there will be pralayam of various types. There will be a dinam, a day that is calculated in a different way for Brahma. He takes us through that. The first shloka reads like this. Evam tavat prakritah prakshayante brahme kalpe khladime labdha janma brahma bhuyastvatta evapya vedan srishtim chakre purva kalpopamana prakritah prakshayante. At the end of a prakritika pralaya, which is a mahapralaya where there is damage that happens across the creation, prakrita prakshayante adime Bramha Kalpehi. That first kalpa is known as Bramha Kalpa. So this Brahma Kalpa is denoted here because it denotes that Brahma begins his creation in this particular kalpa. Brahma labdha janma evam tavat. Thereby Brahma, because Brahma Kalpam is denoted, Brahma has come into picture. Who is this Brahma? Brahma labdha janma evam. Because he got a janma because of you. Evam tavat. Apya vedam bhuyaha tvattaha eva. He has been called Brahma. He has been asked to create. But what will he use for creation? For example, I go to a kitchen. I have to do some particular dish. I will refer to the recipe. So there is a recipe book. If not, I will check on the internet and check if what is this recipe, what if it goes wrong, what correction I should make. So there is a recipe book. There is a manual. For example, you buy a washing machine, you buy a refrigerator, you buy a television, you buy a laptop. a manual will come along with you, explaining to you how to use it, why to use it, and all those precautionary measures that you have to take. Brahma has been told, create. Brahma Kalpam is there, create. With what will he create? That is why Bhaṭṭatiri says, Apya Vedanu Bhuyaha Tvattaha Eva. After having got the Vedas, Apya Vedan Bhuyaha Tvattaha Eva. Tvattaha, you. Hey Krishna of Guruvayur, Guruvayurappa, hey Vasudeva, you have given those Vedas to him. Apya Vedan Bhuyaha Tvattaha Eva Chakre Srishtim. Thereby he begins the function of creation. Purva Kalpopamanam, in a manner that is comparable to the previous Kalpa. Purva Kalpopamanam, he says, thereby this creation has begun. So in the first Shloka, it is said that there was a Prakritika Pralaya, a Maha Pralaya. Brahma, who has been created to undergo the creation, has been given the Vedas. Then what happened? Next he says, Soyam Chaturyuga Sahasramitanyahani Tavanmitascha Bahusho Ninaya Nidratya Sautvai Niliya Samam Swasrishtaihi Naimittika Pralayamahuratosya Ratrim Saha Ayam Ninaya Bahushaha Ahani. Having spent many days, Brahma has spent many days, Ayam Ninaya Bahushaha Ahani. Ahani days, Bahushaha Ahani. Many days he has spent. Chaturyuga Sahasramitani, extending over a period of 1000 Chaturyugas. So the word 1000 need not have to essentially denote 1000. Do we have references for that? Yes. In Purva Kandam of the Karma Kandam that we call as Purva Mimamsa, because the sutras have been composed by Jaimini, there is a mention of a yagam called Samvatsara, Sahasra Samvatsara Yagam, a yajna that has to be performed for 1000 years. Immediately the Rishi asks, the human life itself is only for roughly about 100 years. Shatamanam bhavati shatayah purusha shatendriya. So how do I do for 1000? That is when the commentator Shabaraswami in his Bhashyam states, there, if you adhere to the rules, you are very sincere, then 1 year is equivalent to 1 day. So when Vedam says Sahasra Samvatsara Yagam, 1000 Samvatsaras, 1000 years, you have to equal it to 1000 days is the calculation. Similarly, here we have 1000 Chaturyugas. There are different ways to calculate the Chaturyuga. One says 43,20,000 years, one says 12,000 years, one says you'll have to calculate it based on the day. In whichever format, Chaturyuga Sahasramitani, that Chaturyugam which extends for 1000 years, Tavan Mitaha Rajanihi Cha. Thereby there are equal number of nights as well. Now he said, Ahani, there are many such days. Then he says, Rajanihi Cha. Rajani means Ratri, night. So he says, Tavan Mitaha Rajani Cha Asau Nidrati Niliyatvai. At that point in time, he sleeps. Brahma sleeps after these 1000 days, 1000 nights. Or rests on Bhagavan. Remember, even when we say in the mundane pattern, if someone is sleeping in deep sleep, elderly people will say, do not wake him up. Why? Because that Jivatma of that body, inside that body, is in close connection with the paramatma. So there is a nice communication happening between the Jivatma and paramatma. So this is the state even for primitive mortals like us. Why ask for Brahma? Asau Nidrati Niliyatvai. At that point in time, he gets very close to Paramatma and sleeps. Samam Swasrishtaihi. So the entire creation is also dormant at that time. So despite having Jivatmas and Achaitanam, they all look like Achaitanam at that point in time. Vedanta Deshika says, Achit Avisishtan Pralaye Jantu Navalokya Jata Nirveda Karanakale Varayogam Vitarasi Vrishashailanatha Karunetvam Samam Swasrishtaihi Ataha Asya Ratrim Ahuhu. Thereby his night, that night is said to be Naimittika Pralayam. It is called as a Naimittika. This Nimitta Karanam, Naimittika Pralayam, where all the creation of him rests along with Brahma in the Paramatma. Like this 1000 days, 1,000 nights may go. Naimitika pralayam. Next shloka, Bhaṭṭatiri says, Asmadrisham punar ahar mukha krityatulyam srishtim karotyanudinam sabhavat prasadat prag Bramha Kalpa janusham cha parayusham tu sukta prabodhana samasti tadapi srishtihi bhavat prasadat saha punaha karoti. By your grace, that Brahma again starts performing. Srishtim anudinam. Again and again, the act of creation is performed every day. Ahar mukha kritya tulyam asmadrisham. How does he do it? See, for example, we call something called as Nitya Pralayam. Where does this happen, sir? You may ask me. As we sleep in the night and wake up in the morning, it is called Nitya Pralayam. Because when we close our eyes, there is no light. You sleep on the floor or the bed. You drink milk and sleep. And some people in the villages have this habit of even lighting up the mosquito coil. So you've got a mosquito coil, you're making the room dark, you're drinking milk and sleeping. So every sign that is related to death is what you do to yourself. And finally you close your eyes. So there is darkness around. So when you wake up in the morning, you have crossed that pralayam. So it is called Nitya Pralayam. Like how we have Nitya Pralayam, towards the end of Chatur Yugas, Brahma has a pralayam. So that is being described. Ahar mukha kritya tulyam asmadrisham. Like the morning duties of people. See, in Srimad Ramayanam, when Rama and Lakshmana go along with Vishwamitra finds it deemingly fit on his note to be responsible and to wake up Rama. So he says, Kausalya Supraja Rama Purva Sandhya Pravartate. So now it is early morning. Uttishthar, get up. Narashardula, the tiger amongst men. Kartavyam Deivamanhikam. Because you have to do your duties. Kartavyam Deivam Anhikam. You have to do your daily duties. So one meaning is, Vishwamitra says, wake up Rama, you have to do your duties. The other meaning which many acharyas give is, you don't have to wake up because you have to do your duties. You have to wake up because I have to do my duties. Vishwamitra says, every morning I look at sun and call him Dheyas Sada Savitrimandala Madhyavatti Nārāyaṇa Sarasijasana Sannivishta Keyuravan Makarakundalavan Kiriti Hari Hiranmaya Babuhu Dhridashanka Chakraha Shri Dwaraka Nilayachyuta Govinda Pundarikaksha Rakshamam Sharanagatam. I look at the sun and imagine Surya Narayana in the middle of it and then do the Argyam. Hey Bhagavan, today you have come as Rama. I want to see you wake up so that I do Argyam to you. So one, you have to do your duties. Second, I have to do my duties. So Brahma does his duties. When does he do? Like how we wake up in the morning and do. So he says, Ahar mukha kritatulyam asmadrisham apitu tada parayusham. Then for those ones who have won over death, immortals ones, Prag Brahma Kalpa Janusham, those who were born in the previous Brahma Kalpa. So this Kalpa Shabdam is very important in our time calculation. The first of it is Brahma Kalpam. The middle of it, because one Brahma has to complete the Parardhe, half of his lifetime. That time it is called Padma Kalpam. Prag Brahma Kalpa Janusham Srishtihi Asti Sukta Prabodhana Sama. Those who were born in Brahma Kalpa, creation is like waking up for sleep from them. So if you wake up from sleep, it will just be like another day. Brahma wakes up after having dealt with paramatma very closely. He wakes up as if it was a day. So Brahma Kalpam beginning. Towards the end we are going to see Padma Kalpam. So he says, Prag Brahma Kalpa Janusham Srishtihi Asti Supta Prabodhana Sama. Supta. So it looks as if he's woken up. Supta Prabodhana Sama. Then only he can get that bodhanam, which is that knowledge that is required for the further activities. Supta Prabodhana Sama Asti Srishtihi. That kind of a Srishti, says Bhaṭṭatiri in this particular third shloka of the 8th Dashakam of Śrīman Nārāyaṇīyam.
कल्याणरूपाय कलौ जनानां कल्याणदात्रे करुणासुधाब्दे कंवादिदिव्यायुधसत्कराय वातालयाधीश नमो नमस्ते। नारायण 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 नारायण